A specific weight settles in the lower half of the sternum when breathing stops descending. You may be here right now with your shoulders slightly raised, your chest tightened, your belly barely moving when you inhale. This pattern reveals that the body's self-healing current stops exactly there, at the point that separates the cardiac territory from the abdominal. When that current resumes its flow and the 4 portals that block it dissolve, the organism remembers, on its own, what it feels like to circulate freely. This is what this video is about. Every cell in your organism carries an intelligence that biologists call autopoiesis, the capacity to produce, maintain, and repair itself continuously. This silent orchestration operates at all times, but depends on coherence between systems to function at full power. The alchemists described this as circulatio, a current that moves through the body, purifying and reorganizing living matter from the inside out. Stephen Porges demonstrated on a neurophysiological basis that the ventral vagus nerve, when active, signals to the organism that it is safe to invest energy in repair, regeneration, and cellular growth. When that branch closes, the current stalls. The central premise of this video, that healing has always been internal, is the axis that organizes the material we compiled to go deeper in that direction. The guide Healing in Motion brings together 22 somatic cycles by axis, and one of them specifically nurtures the resumption of this internal flow. If this resonates with what you are feeling right now, gain access to this rare material in the first pinned comment. Now let us meet the 4 portals. The first portal is located in the diaphragm, the dome-shaped muscle just below the sternum. It functions as an energetic valve that separates the cardiac territory from the abdominal. When chronic alert installs itself, this muscle contracts and remains partially closed. Communication between the heart and the viscera is interrupted. You can feel this right now. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. Breathe normally and observe which one moves first. When the hand on the chest leads, the diaphragm is locked. 4 fingers above the navel, the second portal concentrates what emotions condense into physical tension. Shame, fear of judgment, anger that never found an outlet. This center hardens and interrupts the ascending flow of vital energy. It is where the vagus nerve branches to innervate the digestive organs, and the accumulation here compromises the entire parasympathetic system. At the center of the sternum, where the thymus lies, the third portal governs physical immunity and the capacity to receive, to open to what nourishes. When emotional closure installs itself as protection, this gland loses its power to radiate presence. The result manifests as a contracted chest, breathing that stops before reaching the belly, and difficulty accepting care. The pulses at the wrists close the circuit. The 4th portal marks where the heart's rhythm reaches the extremities, carrying information about coherence or fragmentation to the entire peripheral system. When vital energy stops before completing that path, the result is emotional numbness, disconnection from the body itself. Strong and rhythmic pulses indicate that the current flows from the heart to every cell. Restoration begins with repolarization, the moment when the organism resumes its ideal electrical charge. Tissues in chronic stress operate with reduced voltage, accumulate metabolic waste, and lose the capacity to distinguish between what nourishes and what depletes. When the nervous system returns to coherence, cellular membranes recover selective permeability, oxygen enters with ease, acidic metabolites are expelled. You feel this as lightness, as a relief that rises from the inside out. Simultaneously, specialized junctions between cells synchronize thousands of them at the same time, creating waves of information that move through entire tissues. A conscious breath in the diaphragm can release tension in the back. A gentle touch on the solar plexus can generate warmth in the chest. The fascia, The network of connective tissue that surrounds muscles and organs recovers elasticity, and the body ceases to be separate parts, reacting in isolation, returning to operate as a unified system. With that, let us move to the practice. You will need a quiet place where you can sit for a few minutes. The ritual that follows has 3 movements, each of them speaking directly to the nervous system in the language the body already recognizes. Begin seated with the spine naturally upright, relaxed along its length, tongue touching the roof of the mouth gently, creating the closed circuit that ancient masters knew as the celestial bridge, hands resting naturally on the thighs, palms facing down. The internal intention is simple. I allow the current to circulate again. The first movement is 3-dimensional breathing. Inhale through the nose, directing the air toward the base of the ribs, sensing the lateral expansion, then exhale through slightly parted lips with a nearly inaudible sound, more prolonged than the inhalation. This rhythm activates the ventral vagus nerve. Repeat for 3 to 5 minutes. The sign that it is working is the breath becoming spontaneously slower and deeper, as if the body were remembering something it had forgotten. Next, the conscious touch. Bring your fingertips to the solar plexus and make slow circles with minimal pressure, only presence. 2 to 3 minutes here. Spontaneous yawns and small involuntary sighs are signs that the knot is releasing. Then move to the center of the sternum and make gentle taps with your fingertips, 2 taps per second, awakening the thymus. The third movement connects the pulses. Place the right thumb over the left wrist at the point where you feel the radial artery. Inhale, imagining energy rising along the arm from the wrist to the shoulder. Exhale, visualizing it descending through the center of the chest down to the belly. Alternate sides after a few cycles. To close, stand with your knees slightly unlocked and simply allow any microtremor that wants to emerge. This spontaneous tremor completes the nervous cycles that were left interrupted. Simply accept with openness. When these 3 movements integrate with regularity, what changes goes beyond what any physical marker can describe. Sleep begins to truly repair. The response to daily stress loses its sharp edge. You continue to feel the pressure, but it ceases to cut. The chest opens with a subtlety that only someone who has been closed for years can recognize. Small tensions that once required effort to release begin to yield on their own. The most precise way to put it is this: you cease operating on autopilot and begin to inhabit your own body at each moment with each breath. To anchor this state, create your personal signal gesture. Hand at the center of the chest, 3 breaths consciously directed toward the belly. Use this gesture whenever you notice that the current has closed again, when the breath rises toward the chest, when the solar plexus tightens. It functions as a direct command to the nervous system, return to coherence. Your point of access is always the same, always available. A breath that descends, a spine that organizes itself, and the current that knows what to do when the path is open. You crossed something today that goes beyond technique. The experience the body just registered is somatic, and somatic memory is more lasting than any concept. It installs itself in the tissues, in the rhythm of the heart, in the quality of the breath at rest. The hidden current was always active, pulsing beneath the blockages, awaiting the right conditions to resume its full flow. Rainer Maria Rilke wrote, "The only path is inward." He described the secret topography you have just traversed, the territory where self-healing lives, where every cell carries the memory of what it feels like to circulate freely. You have become the alchemist of your own system, the guardian of your own current. Healing always had its origin here within, because the entire organism was built to find its way back to flow. If this video touched something real in you, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to receive each new piece of content. Write in the comments, "I reactivate the hidden current and the self-healing power that has always lived within me. If you want to go deeper into what was opened here, the exclusive guide, Healing in Motion, is available in the first pinned comment. Remember, all the strength you sought in external sources has always resided in the silent interval between one heartbeat and the next. The body itself is the current, the channel, and the cure.